Okay, at this time, I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Carver Conservation Commission for Wednesday, December 1st, 2021. Our order of business tonight, first two items are discussion items. The first one is a minor modification for cobblestone on Meadow Street.
He had contacted me a while ago, and they needed to widen the roadway for the fire. But anyway, I haven't heard back from him, so I'm assuming it's gonna be on the next meeting.
Okay,
Yep. So nothing, he never filed anything, so.
all right.
And then John, I never heard back from.
Okay.
I texted him.
So this is like the fourth meeting in a row we've been gonna do this, so apparently it must not be that big a deal.
Well,
Either or he's busy.
What's that?
The cranberry season is over. How busy can you be?
I mean, that was kind of like, we had asked him, and then it ended up being the really busy meeting, so I said, why don't you wait till come to the next one, and then he was gonna come to the November 3rd, and then he just never came.
Okay, good. So let's not do any more of this on the discussions until they bring it back up.
That sounds good.
I mean,
right, I would check with John because
I'll contact him.
No, we're gonna chase this until what, February, March, April, May?
No, I agree with you. But if we don't do it at some point, it's gonna come back to us next.
Well, then we'll deal with it when it does.
Well, it shouldn't be another,
Why not?
It was
after.
more kind of an informational thing, because
Yeah.
wasn't he gonna kind of tell us what, about them.
So, anyway,
It's gonna drop by 10 feet if they.
Yeah, exactly.
well, I'll call John. I'll see if he wants to come in and talk to him.
See,
All right, I can do that. All right. There is an unanticipated piece of business that we have to deal with tonight, and it is allowed by bylaw. If something comes up, even though it's not on the agenda, it's unanticipated, so we're allowed to deal with this. Each of you has in front of you a copy of the enforcement order for Pine Gate Renewables, the revised enforcement order based on our meeting last week. So we need to vote on this.
Yeah, this is basically, the amended enforcement order with all the conditions that you agreed to at the,
And that they agreed to.
that they agreed to,
And that they
yes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So
So
this
this,
is-
and I had signed for it and sent it to them, but they just want to make
So
sure
this is
that-
just the hard copy
Yeah.
of that. So this has already been dealt with at a previous meeting.
Yes.
All we're doing this now is just this paperwork.
Yeah,
All right, so
Works for me.
yeah.
do we need to vote on approving this?
Just have to ratify it.
Ratify it.
A motion to approve the enforcement
Yeah.
order
You
for,
basically approve it. You're looking at it and saying,
Yeah.
okay, this is all the
Right.
conditions that we voted on up there.
so this is really an amended order.
I'm sorry, the amended.
Yeah.
Motion to approve the amended order
Yeah.
as was discussed at the previous meeting
Yeah.
for DEPSE 126584 and 126586 as written.
Do I hear a second?
Second?
Discussion.
Yes, I just need a moment to finish reading this.
Okay, that's
Is that-
fine.
Is that okay?
Yep.
All right, thank you.
This is everything we talked about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, allow them to, do work to preparing them,
Yep.
for the new poles.
It even protects the groundwater and contaminants.
Yeah, and then
Any leaching. Good.
the additional sampling round after.
Yeah. No pressure, Dan.
I feel no
There is
pressure.
a typo.
I'll be done when I'm
I
done.
saw that covered.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Okay.
Well, there is a piece that I had asked for that night that I don't see yet. That was with the replacement poles.
Yeah,
We were gonna, there's different types of aggregate used for making forms. And I wanted to have there be some documentation that the aggregate they're using is appropriate for being used in conjunction with potable water.
Didn't we get that from them? Didn't they send you something that said this was
Yeah, on the concrete?
the standard concrete that's used in sidewalks
I
and?
thought we did too, yes. Or maybe it just, let's see.
No, because I've seen it.
Well, oh, aggregate sand and gravel? That's what they said, used in wet environments, used in wet environments in municipal water systems around the world. So aggregate sand and gravel and cement, Portland cement. No chemical treatments or coatings installed with the same equipment to remove the, yep.
Where are we seeing this?
This was on the thing that you looked at the last meeting.
Okay, I was looking for it here, that's all.
Oh, okay, yeah, no, I didn't specify it in there, but,
Okay,
But that's a document, that's an appendix to the,
it is,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, to the minutes, so that, what's in there.
right, this is what you approved, pretty much,
Yes.
yeah.
So does that suffice?
I don't know, does it?
I mean, it's a legal document. That-
Yeah,
Once we approve the minutes and attach that to it, that becomes part of the decision.
If that's the case, then I'm happy.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. So it's been moved and seconded to approve the amended order, enforcement order for Pine Gate Renewables. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's approved 4-0.
And I'll also make an additional motion that we approve the conservation agent to have signed this document dated 11/29/2021 for SE 126584 and 126586.
Do I have a second?
Second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to accept the conservation agent's signature on the,
On behalf of the commission.
on behalf of the commission for the amended enforcement order. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, approved 4-0. All right,
There you go.
good. Now, this will become a document, a part of this meeting's minutes
Right.
Yep,
that we have to vote on at our next meeting, at which time it becomes a public document.
oh, okay,
So, Ashley, you would wanna maybe attach this
yeah,
when you do your minutes.
Okay,
We'll-
someone just forward that to me.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
attach that. Brooke, can you get
I
that
can-
to
yeah,
her?
I can forward
Or
it
you
to
can
you.
give her my copy if you want, but she'd still
Oh,
have
all
to
right.
scan it and put it in, so.
yeah,
Right.
here,
So-
want this?
So it becomes an
Just give me the
attachment.
copy, it's easier than, so that, cause otherwise I'll forget to give it to you, so
Okay.
that would be attached, yeah.
Right, so none of, these become public documents when they,
Right.
the
Not
minutes
till
that
after
they are
they're
attached to are
Okay.
approved. So this will be a public document on the morning of the 16th
Yeah,
Right.
of December. All right,
In the future, when we do have enforcement orders, just so there aren't too many degrees of separation when it comes to specifics that we want, with that, I'm glad to hear that that's, as soon as next meeting gets voted on, then it becomes public record. I'm just, if they don't follow through with this, how enforceable is that issue if they decide to use something other than?
We shut them
advertising?
down again.
yeah,
They can't go against what they've said they're gonna do.
right.
So
Good
this is what got them sunk the first time. Because they used the word timber poles.
Mhm.
And originally in the plans it called for steel. Then there was an issue with timber poles with no definition of what the timber was.
Yeah, no, I get
So
it.
we all took the hit for that.
Yeah, no, I get all that, and I'm sure that after
So if they
everything
stop
they've,
playing games and put plastic in,
Yeah.
then obviously we have another issue. This whole thing will start all over again.
yeah, I'm not sure I'm worried about Pine Gate moving
The
forward.
next guy,
Yeah, just,
I
well,
get it.
procedurally for us, just so that we're not chasing information.
The game's gotta stop. This is
Right.
the whole issue here, is that, you know, we've been getting taken advantage of because we've been getting taken advantage of because we've allowed it. And it's just gotta stop.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe, Brooke, in the cases where we have an amended enforcement order, especially something where there was a lot of discussion on it.
yeah,
You shared the enforcement order before you know, with us.
Yeah.
So that, like, Dan could say,
Oh,
hey, that
okay,
wasn't
yeah,
in
yeah,
there.
yeah.
And, I mean, even though we have it there and it's going to become a legal document, it wouldn't hurt anything to have it put in the
Right.
enforcement
Right.
order.
Right, right.
So-
right.
Or even make reference to the original document.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
That would even
But-
be better, just attach that to the enforcement order and make reference
to
to
the
it.
original one.
Sure.
right, but
because
there was so
as
much
long as it
happening that.
ties it.
There
I
was
know
so
there
much
was,
happening
I
that
know.
night that we couldn't remember everything.
Right.
But I, you know, I think we're covered. I'm
Yeah.
not worried about that.
Yeah.
But I think that in the future,
Okay.
sharing it with us so we can,
Yeah,
before you
Yeah.
send it to whoever and get
Yeah.
it signed,
yeah,
Yeah.
we can just make sure everything that we
Okay.
remember
yeah,
is on there.
okay.
But there was no popcorn.
Hmm?
There was no popcorn.
Oh. All right. Minutes.
We'll do
Got
those
like
after.
5 minutes, 5 copies of minutes.
We do those after.
Oh, we can do them after. We have a continued hearing for 5 Johns Pond Road, NOI DEP 126-630. I don't have to read it again since it's continued. So, hello again. You went on
So we went out today,
out today.
and Dan and I, and we measured the height of the wall.
Yeah.
It was 5 feet 2 inches up, and then 35 feet across from, you know, end to end.
Okay. All right.
And you've all seen it. So, I don't know. I mean,
That's,
I don't know, did you have some more pictures you wanted to show, or?
I didn't bring, they were the same ones though that.
The same ones that
was
you,
in,
we've seen, yeah.
Yeah.
Showed the beach and the stairs and the area before it was redone.
Yeah, you saw all these pictures, right?
I mean, we left it at the last meeting the only question was the size of the wall, I believe.
Yeah, I think so, yep.
And 5'2" in height and 35 feet long is, it's pretty substantial for something that wasn't there previously. You know, I look at what we forced Mr. Warren to do. He had a timber wall that was replaced with a rock wall, and we made him eliminate it. We're in a similar
Let me see these,
situation now.
What we need to see?
let me see the pictures.
The wall? Look at those. And they got, do you want these? These are the other pictures that Darlene gave us.
Those are the pictures from the water of the previous?
Yeah, the ones that Darlene had given us. Are those it? These are the other ones. But when it was being built.
Yeah, I got those.
Remember that one? Yep.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, go ahead.
I mean, I guess we're at a point now where we discuss what we wanna do. My concern is, not my concern, in my opinion, we've in effect already ruled on this just with a different person. And I don't see how we can do anything differently. For two reasons. Number one, it sets a precedent going forward for the next person who wants to put in a 5.5-foot wall, 35 feet long. And it allows Mr. Warren to come back to us and say, well, I spent so much money getting rid of the wall, and now you've let somebody else do it. So I want to be reimbursed for what I spent.
Well, it's actually a little more complicated than that, because even with the pictures that we've seen and the site visits that we've had, there's actually not a whole lot of evidence to show that they've changed a lot other than the materials used. In terms of there's some structures right by the wall where had they excavated as much as supposedly they're being said that the complainant is saying that they did, that shed would have collapsed in. And from the pictures that I've seen, it seems that there isn't any less beach than there was in the first place. But again, I think, of this board, I think I'm pretty consistent as to how I view any change. But to be fair, I have to see evidence of the pre and post, and I'm not sure that we have that in hand. And whereas when you reference that other case on Sampson's Pond, we had a lot of evidence of the before and the after and the during and the continuation of ignoring of things that we had asked for all along the way. In my mind, I never really care if people meant to do things or didn't mean to do things. If it's wrong, it's wrong, and if it's right, it's right. Is how I view that. Whether they're a nice person or not is irrelevant to me. What's at issue is I have not seen enough evidence to show that there is, other than the obvious change in materials used, that part I have a different opinion on. I would have liked to have seen either, same for same, as we like to try to have all these different cases follow through with, but in terms of changing the actual topography, I'm not really seeing the evidence right now. I can see it looks very new, but I also see some aspects of the structure there that look like the upper part had been there. So I would have trouble comparing. I don't think it's an apples to apples thing. That's all I'm saying.
I have to agree with Mr. Badger. I think it's absolutely apples and oranges comparing it to Mr. Warren. I think Mr. Warren was done with forethought and malice, and I think this was done because he had a set of stairs going down and he tried to shore up an edge and tried to keep a structure from falling into the water, and I don't think he's intentionally set out to do any of this, and I think it's very different than what's on the other side of that pond. And I'm not trying to find, this has nothing to do with, like Dan said, likes and dislikes. This is strictly right versus wrong. And I don't see the correlation between these two issues at all.
I disagree. I don't think
Okay.
it's right and wrong. I think it's the bylaw that protects the
Okay.
water's edge. And I don't see anything in our bylaws or the state bylaws that says that if malice and forethought means you can't do it, but an honest mistake means you can.
No,
It's
I'm not
still-
saying that it should be condoned because it's an honest mistake. I'm simply saying that we should not vilify it and turn it into the same analogy as we're using on the other side of the pond.
Yeah.
Am I more
Am I-
inclined to,
Yeah.
grant some relief here? We've done many of these after the fact things, and I'm not, personally, I'm not inclined to make this man pull out what's gonna amount to how many cement blocks. He's gonna do, again, we go back to the damage being done. He'll do more damage ripping this stuff all out of there to the waterfront area, and then put back what? Another, wood wall?
And what do you say to the next person who does it?
Well, to be
This has been your point.
I don't disagree with you, but, I said this before, when there was a complaint about the stuff that was being dumped over the side, and we said, look, just leave it there, let it rot, let it go back to the earth, let it do whatever it's gonna do, because you make more of a mess dragging it out of there. So, yeah, okay, this is just what we're gonna end up dealing with in the future. But as far as, how long has this wall been in there?
Over 2 years, something like that.
So, with all due respect, this is a Hatfields and McCoys, and we have a neighbor that's very upset over this thing, and it's made a federal case out of this, and I don't know what the solution is, other than to tell this man to take the $10,000 or $15,000 he spent to build this wall and light a match to it, and too bad, shame on you, you shouldn't have done that.
What
But
do
in
we
the meantime, bring in another proposal, and maybe we'll let you do it back over in wood. I don't get any of that.
And you do have to look, you do also have to look at the fact that it's, impacting the pond. the way it is now.
How much will it impact when he rips it all out of there?
Right, so that's kind of what you have to look at that too, you know, like the way it is now, is there any impact to the pond?
The one thing maybe I misspoke because I think my intent of my explanation actually it doesn't really correlate with what either one of you are saying, in that if there was evidence to show the pre and the post.
Where are those photos from?
Well, look, the pre shows a set of stairs going down to it.
Yeah,
And
a
the patio
a rotted set of stairs.
And the patio was there,
And the
Right.
patio was there.
Right, but what I viewed as the bigger potential issue, and which I would not even flutter an eyelash at in terms of ripping a wall down or anything like that, if it didn't belong there, and that is, I'm not seeing in the photographic evidence a extreme change in the topography or the excavation itself. If I saw that in the evidence of the pre and post, then my opinion as to what to do would be very different.
which ones you want?
That's all I'm
Just
saying.
give them all.
Let's see, okay, so, oh, those are Darlene's, oh, these are, those are from Darlene. These, the one I just gave you. That's hers, we don't want that one. I just gave them to you, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give them back.
I just want to make my decision based on evidence, not how I feel about it. That's all.
It's always how you feel about it. Doesn't matter. Evidence aside, it's always how you feel about it.
What are you guys doing? I have that, those. I wanna give you those.
Every one of these decisions become somewhat of a moral decision all the time.
Just have them.
It's just real life.
What are you looking for?
I was looking for the ones with
Just
the,
can't find
showing the stairs.
Oh, I have them.
They're over there.
They're here.
Oh, showing the old stairs.
Yes.
Oh, okay, you got those. Okay.
Yeah, I have them.
Okay. I got all your Google ones.
Alan had them.
No, I didn't have them. She had them.
Oh, all right. No, I mean, you handed it to me. I'm sorry.
All right, let's get a grip.
Let's get a grip. It was
Okay.
right.
All right, Mr. Warren had a wooden wall. He replaced it with rock. He did not appreciably change the
two rock
contour
walls.
of the land.
Two.
He
One
did,
that was in the water.
yes, all right, 2 rock walls.
And strip cleared the area.
And we had a plan that did not show it.
That's correct. So let's, if we're gonna get into the Mr. Warren stuff, then get into all the Mr. Warren stuff, not the convenient points. 2 rock walls, one was in the water, neither one was approved, took down a little tiny bit of a wood wall, and he strip cleared the whole area. To the point now where they're gonna lay the walls over on their side so they don't lose the entire piece of property into Sampson's Pond.
And the footing for the deck.
And the footing for the deck. Let's not forget the footing for the deck. So this is nowhere near, with all due respect, Mr. Chairman, this is nowhere near apples and apples. This is apples and oranges as far as I'm concerned. It's even a different pond.
I know. All right. You say that the contour of the land wasn't changed appreciably, then why do they have a backhoe digging the earth up?
Well, you gotta put the first row in somewhere. You
Yeah,
can't
bed-
lay it on
bed
an
them.
angle.
Yeah, you gotta bed them.
Yeah.
So you're appreciably changing
No,
the
you're not. If the
contour.
land goes like this and you gotta make a little shelf to put the first block on, you gotta dig that dirt out to make the first shelf. You can't just lay it down on its side.
Does that-
You saw a flat beach today. All of that sand that's in that photo was scooped out and brought somewhere else, because now you see a flattened beach. If
Now you
measure
say
a
somewhere
30
else. You
if
telling me he
measure
trucked
a
it out of
35
there?
If you measured a 35.
Did he truck the
wall,
sand out of there? You said it was taken somewhere
if you
else.
measured a
Did he truck the
35-foot wall,
sand out of
That is
there?
now a 35-foot beach. That photo.
I appreciate that. Did he truck the sand out of there? You said he dug a hole and took the dirt out.
No, I
Where
didn't.
did it go?
I didn't say he dug a hole. I said he removed that sand.
And where did it go? You said he put it somewhere else. Where did it go?
It's not my burden to prove that, sir.
Okay.
You said in the last meeting, that he's done all this work within the 65-foot buffer zone. Is that
Correct.
correct?
Yes.
He did it without an approved plan that he came in front of the committee.
And there's an after-the-fact NOI here. That's the decision that we're making tonight,
Right.
is to approve an after-the-fact NOI.
So I've showed you the photos that I have to show
And what would
proof-
you like us to
Proof
do?
that the landscape was significantly altered.
Okay, so tell us,
Okay.
tell this committee what you would like to see. What would make you happy
The
tonight?
Wetlands Protection Act to be enforced. That's what I
Okay,
would
and that
like.
involves what, in your view?
I'm waiting for the committee to tell me what that involves.
I'm asking you, you must have an idea of what you're trying to achieve here. You want the wall removed, I would imagine, and you want all the sand put back the way it once was.
I would like the Wetlands Protection Act upholded by this committee. It's not my decision to tell you how to manage this.
This is what I'm looking at. This picture of a bank going right down to the water's edge, followed by this with a big indentation into what was a
How
slope.
big is the big indentation? What is the dimensions of the big indentation?
Well, it varies, of course, because on the height of the water.
Okay.
It looks to me to be 15 feet. Whereas here, the slope went right down to the water's edge. So 15
So-
feet of,
He had no beach.
right, 15 feet back
Right.
and 5.5.
He had no beach,
Right.
and then doing the block wall gave him a little bit of a beach. Is that what
If you
you?
look at the previous picture.
Is that the end result?
You could see the beach from before and the stairs.
On-
Yeah, I see the beach.
Where's the
From
shed?
before.
Where's
though.
the
Yeah,
shed
no,
on this
I've, there were some pictures somewhere of the before that showed beach, so that's why.
Because the shed has always been there.
Yeah, the shed's always.
Okay, so on this one, where's the shed? On the one where it's being dug out. The shed should have been there up above. That doesn't even look like the same location.
It wasn't moved.
It definitely wasn't moved, yeah.
Is this the, come here for a
Is that the actual digging of this wall?
second.
Because this is the one that's provided by
So
the
where's
neighbor.
where's
So
the
you
shed?
can't- It's, actually, oh, you can see it, it's just hidden there.
But the
That's
shed
red
was-
door, and
Right,
that's
but the
right
shed
there.
was to the right of where your wall is. So
According to
what's-
this picture.
Isn't it?
No, it's just right yeah, it's just right here.
Yeah, you got the shed,
It's just a
okay.
funny
All
angle.
right, well,
Oh.
regardless.
I think coming
That's
from
an
the side
angle,
here.
okay.
But yeah, that's the shed right
Okay.
over there.
What do you want to do with this?
I don't. Do you have any comment, Jim?
No, I don't. I'm,
Then I'm going to make a motion that we approve the NOI for DEP 126630 for 5 Johns Pond Road as an after-the-fact approval.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the after-the-fact NOI to allow the wall to stand for DEP SC 126-630. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Me. So it passes 3-1.
Tremont Street is
There you
postponed.
go. Yes. And, what was the other? Yeah, actually, Tremont Street.
Actually,
now-
that was an improper vote, Mr. Chairman.
Oh,
We
wait.
should have voted, hold on a minute, Tony. We should have voted to close the hearing for 5
And
Johns
do you
Pond
need
Road.
some, the neighbor?
We already did.
But I think we need
No,
to
we do.
discuss the,
We,
All right,
we,
we have something else in
all right. Yeah, let's.
well,
all
we'll
right.
get into that in a second.
We need to close the hearing.
So let me, I think we need to back out that vote,
Yeah.
and we'll make a motion to close the hearing
I'll second that.
for DEP 126630, 5 Johns Pond Road.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to close the hearing on DEP SE 126-630 Johns Pond.
I
Dear-
I just have a comment that's hearing related.
Yes.
Okay. You're concerned about us following the wetland bylaws. I mean, nothing is more important than, for us, than doing exactly that. However, we can only deal with what information we have in front of us. And we can't, it's not fair for either side of an argument to speculate, other than to, make it known publicly that we are closing fast on mitigating further after the fact anythings, as we play a role in educating the public and doing the best we can with the information we have on hand. So just know that people's concerns are heard, and we are doing the best we can with the information we have. We are also limited as to what this body can do when it comes to things that are not within our purview. So, with that said, sometimes I feel it's important that the public knows that we hear them, that they're just not always going to get the result they want. That's all.
And I think you have to also, what Alan said, is you have to think about to make him remove the wall, the disturbance that it would cause.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
More damage
To the-
than you'd be getting.
and more damage to the pond. So that's kind of the whole wetlands protection
Yeah.
thing too. So,
No, I get it.
and it's
And
there, and it's,
If I saw a lane to yank that thing out of there without it causing more trouble, and in conjunction with my seeing evidence to show that it did in fact change the slope significantly from what was there before, then I might have a different opinion on it.
You don't think those pictures show that?
I don't.
With the backhoe, the one with the backhoe with the slope?
I see a backhoe in there, but again, I can't.
We're rehashing, there's a motion to close the hearing,
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman.
The motion hasn't been voted on yet.
I have a question. If I present this to the DEP, will the...
Be my guest,
will the
that's your
hearing-
purview.
Pardon me, will the hearing stay open?
No,
no, we close
motion
the
is to
hearing,
close the
then-
hearing.
Okay,
Then you would need, if you want, we're
Okay.
gonna appeal it. You have 10 days to appeal it to DEP.
right.
But this would have had to been closed, and the commission would have had to have had, they have to have an order of conditions for you to appeal.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They have to have a signed order of conditions for you to actually
Okay.
appeal.
We actually have to give a variance on this also, so.
All right, so it's
And
been,
I think that the public has the right to know about the decision that was made today, and I know this is all public record, but it's important that not only the message that you just delivered, Dan, gets put out there, but the message that, that another, plan after the fact was approved on a pond front for construction that has been documented and, is now gonna pave the way for the next person.
Well, maybe not, but we'll get into that in a few minutes after this is all
That doesn't
done.
help me at all, or my pond, John's pond. If this had been your pond, Mr. Moore, maybe the fight would have been a little harder, not particularly from your perspective, but overall from the committee perspective, it might have been, considered a little bit differently, but it's not helping my pond at all.
Yeah,
I don't think that's appropriate.
which pond it is irrelevant. I mean, my argument against it would be the same regardless.
Right.
And, the fact that I happen to live on a pond is irrelevant to what the committee did. So, I made the case as best I could.
Yeah.
We are for equal votes here.
There are things that I would personally like to do on my own property, but I don't because it would not be something I would vote for, if you follow that. Because how close I am to certain wetland areas. There were things I'd like to do on my own property, and because I respect the bylaw, I don't even bring it to this body. I would vote against myself in that regard. So, to allay to your concerns as to how we might vote toward one issue or the other, just rest easy that is not the case.
All right, so it's been moved and seconded to close the hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. 4-0 to close the
I
hearing.
make a motion, we approve the NOI DEP 126630 for 5 Johns Pond Road.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the after-the-fact NOI for 5 Johns Pond Road, SE 126-630. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Me.
3-1.
3-1.
Make a motion, we approve the variance. I'm assuming this is be for the wall within the 65-foot buffer. DEP 126630 as built, because now it's no plan, it's just as built.
Right.
Is there-
That's it.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's It's been moved and seconded to approve the variance for NOI DEPIC 126-6305 Johns Pond Road. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Me.
Aye.
So
I oppose the variance.
how can you approve the NOI and oppose the variance?
They can do an NOI, I don't have to approve the variance.
Then they can't have the wall.
The variance is part of
The
the,
variance
Part
is
of the order.
required if you, then you should have voted no originally and be back to 2-2. Can't do one, you can't play it both ways, Dan.
I'm not trying to play anything, I'm just, whatever, as I stated, there's not enough evidence for me to vote against them having an NOI. However, what is there, I can vote against the variance because what I see that is there, that was put in, if it needs a variance and it's within the 65, that is a self-imposed hardship.
So now you want them to take it out,
I'm
because
just not giving
this will
them-
deny the variance.
I just can't vote for the variance.
Hey, Jesus, Maria, Joseph.
the variance.
I'm not trying to be difficult, I'm just.
Apparently you are, because this is gonna screw the whole thing
Because
up,
the
Dan.
variance is
Well, I'm
part
not-
of the
I'm not-
order.
I'm not
Either
trying-
you should have voted no originally, and then the whole thing would have been dead. Now there's an approved NOI and a tied variance without a fifth member to break that tie.
Well, I can't.
So what did we tell this couple here now? Should they go home now and start pulling blocks out of their wall because they can't have a variance? Or you know what, it's okay that you have it there, but you can't really have it there.
Well,
What is it you want to say to these people?
what I want to say is I can't vote against their NOI because there's not enough evidence for me to vote against it. However, the structure that is there and where it is within the 65, having placed it within the 65, that is a self-imposed hardship.
So then the NOI should have been denied also, in your view.
But I can't vote against the NOI if I don't have enough evidence. I didn't see enough evidence to vote against the NOI.
The variance is part of the order of conditions. In other words, if you approve an order of conditions, you're also approving the variance.
Right.
Because that's part of the whole order of condition. Because that's the project. The project is the wall within the 65, and you know what I mean? So that it's the wall.
And that would be fine if this were not an after-the-fact notice of intent, which it is. You guys are so worried about what people think about how are people going to perceive us? You know, what message are we going to send? I'm strictly going by what we're told to do in terms of the bylaws, and when it comes to variances, if it is a self-imposed hardship, that's something
It's
that
not a
I pretty
selfie.
that's
You
something.
said yourself that the shed was gonna fall into the pond. So where did this become
I didn't say the shed was
self-imposed?
going to fall into the pond. I
You
said the
did.
shed was already there.
Yeah.
I said based on the
You
where
saw
the shed
no
was.
change in topography. Those were your words.
That's correct. But the materials used, okay, and the building that was used, okay, was within the 65, and the materials used were not approved, and none of it matches the stuff that was used before. But in terms of actually changing the topography or changing, I mean, them having an NOI for this, I couldn't vote against it. I didn't really see enough of a change in the slope, but the materials they used, my understanding is that I can be opposed to the variance. I think I've been pretty consistent over the past couple of years. If I see something that's a self-imposed hardship,
don't
I
get
vote
it.
against it.
No.
He's the only one that gets it. Okay. What do you want to do, Mr. Chairman?
Well, the variance is tied, and a tie is a no. So the variance doesn't get issued.
So the order doesn't get issued.
So the order doesn't get issued, so the original vote of 3-1 is moot because there's no variance. And in effect, we've just told the Lombardos to start taking the wall up. So why didn't we just do that originally? If that's what you wanted, why didn't we just do that?
There's nothing, it's not a matter of.
That's what you just did.
It's not a matter of what I want or what I don't want. What I want is irrelevant.
No, it's not, Dan. Because
It
what
is.
you want is two different things than what you just voted on. You voted yes, then you voted no. So you gotta decide which you want. Jim and I voted yes, yes. Savory voted no, no. You voted yes, no.
You're assuming
So
that,
can they leave the wall? That's the issue.
No, they can't. They don't have a variance for it.
I don't know if now's a good time, but could I just say one brief thing? that's
Sure.
relevant? I know when you started, Savory, you mentioned that they put up a new, you referenced it to being a new wall. I just want to remind everybody that it was the exact same place and the exact same dimensions, retaining the same amount of earth there. That picture with the excavator, all the wooden railroad ties were there, and excavator needed to dig that up. So we weren't changing anything. It was kind of a messy job. There's a lot of wood all mixed in, so we dug that all up. We didn't even make a ledge like somebody was mentioning. That area was already there, and we just put those blocks down because we thought that was the best suitable wall for them. Nothing, no footprint since I said day one has changed.
Okay, but I go back to what we told Mr. Warren. We told Mr. Warren that we would allow it if he changed like for like. He came up with another plan which got rid of the rock wall completely. He buried it. We had told him prior to that decision that he made that he could replace like with like. And there was a wooden wall in front of his house. We said he could put another wooden wall back.
I have a question. What if I came before Mr. Warren? And what if I don't have as much money as Mr. Warren?
Mr. Warren also put in 5 times the wall that was there originally as the wooden wall. There was a little tiny bit of wooden retaining wall, and he built all the way across the
No,
whole
the
back
wall,
of his house.
the wall rotted away over time. It was the full width of the house way back, but that's irrelevant. The length of what the wall is, it's altering and doing
Okay.
things within the 65 feet.
All right, so we just told this guy to take the wall up. So that's where we're at. They'll be thrilled.
I'm not sure that's the case
That's exactly
either.
what we did. He doesn't have a variance. He can't keep the wall without a variance.
That's
And
correct.
we're sure that the only solution is to either, we can't adjust anything.
What is it you'd like to adjust? It's in, it's built, it's done. You want to bring more equipment in there and start ripping it all out and put something else back? What other damage do you want to do to the
I
pond
don't want
to
do
fix
any-
this?
I don't want to do any damage, I just want
Well,
us to
then
be
how did you get the
consistent.
wall out of there?
And leave it.
You speaking over me doesn't make you more right, okay? If you want me to
Because you're
respond-
wrong, Dan.
Well,
Alan, keep-
you know, maybe,
You're just wrong.
okay,
I'm sorry. I know you build bridges in the middle of the woods and you bring it all in on your back. But this guy's got to bring equipment in to remove 4,000 pound blocks. He's not going to be able to take them out of there in a wheelbarrow. That's the fact.
I know, but listen.
So no problem.
You are the one who is one of the biggest proponents of making sure that the next guy.
Absolutely.
Okay,
But this is
so-
in. And the resulting damage that will be caused by removing it out will do more destructive than, because when it's all said and done, he still has the right to put something back that was originally there. So now we're bringing more equipment in and making a bigger mess of the pond and getting everybody else more upset over the damage being done to their precious little pond. Let the guy just do what he's done, slap him on the hand, give him an NOI, and call it a day. And the next guy that comes before us, hopefully he'll file an NOA ahead of time. If he doesn't, they're still taxpayers and residents in the town of Carver.
Taxpayers and residents
I
of the
don't
town
wanna
of
hear
Carver
it,
are
Mr. Chairman.
not in the bylaws. It doesn't
Wonderful.
matter.
I
These
don't-
people are taxpayers and residents too.
And they've been cutting trees.
Everybody on John's Pond is.
So we have a
resident.
complaint about the tree cutting.
I'm sorry, but you're being a little offensive.
I'm sorry if I'm offensive. That's my nature.
It's not their little pond or a little pond.
Well,
it's
apparently it
conservation.
really is.
No, it's conservation.
Did you cut
I think,
trees?
I think my wife came here to report that there was further construction after the fact, right? So the wall was up. There was further construction. It appeared, and this is my words, it appeared that further construction was happening. You guys said it was okay, let that go. We're just trying to figure out what the rules are. And
We
we're
didn't-
trying to protect, the pond from being spoiled for all and property value around it. There's enough water problems in that section of town. You know all about it. You just had another one with the poles and the timbers. We're all taxpayers.
Little hyper is what we all are, but that's
Well,
okay.
we're all taxpayers,
Did you cut
right?
trees down
And
at your pond?
is that on the agenda for tonight? Because if it is, I'll speak to it. And they're not the Hatfields and we're not the McCoys. It's
Well, this is
unfortunate
the
that
way
you
it
have
looks.
labels.
We've seen this elsewhere in
No,
town.
but it's not about that. It's about,
It's next door neighbors that should never come before a board or a committee arguing with each other.
well,
Go
that's
fix it
the
in
forum.
backyard.
That's
No.
no, that's the
There's
forum.
work being
That's
done
the
in the
forum.
65-foot.
Like,
There's work
like,
being done in the 65-foot. It doesn't matter if there's no neighbor anywhere near them.
Here's your order of conditions back. I'm going home. You can look for a new member of the Conservation Commission. I really don't need this bullshit. This is just nonsense. Now I know why Jim walked out the last time. This is Bush League garbage is what this is. Bush League. Have a good night. I hope you enjoy yourselves. This is absolutely ridiculous. Your pond, his pond, he's protected of Savory's pond. Jesus Christ.
I'm protecting Carver's water.
Oh, stop it.
I'm
You're
pro-
not!
I am.
At this time, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I think we should close the hearing. We no longer can function.
And do what?
We can't function. We only have 3 members.
Well, we have a quorum.
Have a
Okay,
quorum.
I guess that's true.
So I had a procedure question.
Yes.
Mr. Germain says that I'm wrong in terms of voting against a variance if I voted for an NOI.
I don't know the answer to that.
Okay, so my question is if that is the case and I am being consistent with how I voted on variances in general, if I see construction being done pre-NOI or post-NOI or whatever in the 65 and it is a self-imposed hardship, that is pretty much the lane I live in, as is my interpretation of how we're supposed to follow the bylaws. If I can't vote against a NOI, and I explain my reasons why, does that mean I'm not allowed to vote against the variance, or I should abstain from the variance? I don't know.
I don't know the answer to that.
All I can say is I was voting as I thought I was supposed to.
I think the area where we got into trouble, and it's not this specific case, it's on other cases that have come before us, is that we've allowed ourselves to issue an after-the-fact NOI.
Yeah.
And that should never happen. But we've put ourselves in that position. Any other after-the-fact NOI, we've made the people come back with a plan.
Yeah, I can't vote for or against something because people are upset with me. I have to vote for or against things based on how I interpret the information. I like these folks, and I don't
Me
mean
too.
to be that guy that's causing people I like to get upset with me and walk out. I like Alan, but I also owe it to the community to be consistent with how I vote.
It just,
And so if I'm wrong procedurally, I would like to.
I'm
I would like
seeing
to.
that being wrong. I get, the variance is part of the order of conditions. So you either approve, the order of conditions, which is for work within the 100-foot and work within the 65. I know they're sort of separate because the 65 is the bylaw, but at the same time, the variance is part of the order of conditions. So
Yeah.
when you approve the order of conditions, you're approving the variance too,
All right,
because,
well,
it's work.
if that's the
it's-
case, and I know that, and
This is all in the order of conditions. What's on the plan is in the order of conditions,
I know, it's
which
just-
includes the work in the 65.
Excuse me, I think this,
Right.
what this illustrates is that we probably should be approving or disapproving the variance before we move to the whole order. Because if we can't approve the variance, then we'll know that we can't approve the order.
Yeah.
Well, our fault has been that we approved an order that required a variance. and
Right.
It was
Right,
afterwards.
right, but it is all,
Well,
like you
that-
said, it is part of the same thing,
if
but you really
if that's
need
the
to-
case, and if what if you're saying is correct, then we're actually in the same place anyway. Because if that were the case, then I would have voted no on the NOI, which would have left for a 2-2.
Well, if we had done the variance first, and Jim, you're right, we should have done the variance first. If we had done the variance first and it was a 2-2 deadlock, that's a
Yeah.
no answer, and there would be no reason to go ahead with a vote on the NOI.
Right,
But the end
Basically
result
denied.
is the same.
Yes, it is.
Is
Yeah.
a 2-2.
Yeah, because if the project's within the 65 and you're not gonna allow that, then you're not gonna allow the project,
Right.
right? So, yeah.
Well, the thing is, with the project, I'm not, if this were not an after the fact, if this was an NOI, I don't know that I would be opposed to the project depending on the materials used, depending on the, you know, if there was a like for like, if there was even different materials but just as good of drainage allowed. So if I'm wrong procedurally, I apologize, but the end result, I think, is the same in this case.
Yeah.
I don't mean to be difficult.
No, when an NOI is done the correct way, and there is a plan, there is an ability for us as a commission to ask questions before the work is done, and to suggest changes,
Yeah.
And allow a variance or not allow.
and work with the applicant to come up with something that is acceptable to us as a commission. The after the fact doesn't allow that, especially when the work's been done. And that in effect is, you know, it's, ignorance of the law is not an excuse. It's always, you hear that from when you're 10 years old. You know, this is unfortunate. This is the way this happened. I don't know. I think that a 2-2 vote is a no. Is that correct, Jim?
Yes, I believe so.
Is it a no or a yes?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
You gotta have a yes vote to go forward.
yes.
It's a no.
So a tie or a...
So a tie is.
Is a no. You need a yes vote to
Okay, I
go
wasn't sure
forward.
on that. I don't think we've ever had that, have we? We've
So,
never had a split vote.
Am I still able to speak for a moment while you, I'm not too sure, I need to be sitting there or here, but.
just so you can be heard,
Sure.
I think it's probably better to sit there. Just, you know, for our vast TV audience.
Just to summarize what I've been kind of thinking, and I respect everybody's views, opinions, and trying to protect the John's Pond. I kind of said it earlier, when we moved into the house, that house was irrelevant. It was that beautiful pond that my other neighbor on the other side, is a lifelong friend, fished there. We were thrilled to move in there. It was the beach that was so awesome. And you can clearly see the beach pictures there. I have other pictures where we have the whole family down there with like 15 people. It was a big area. And like I said before, that wood, which was not a good material or substrate, was collapsing, was rotten, it was just degraded. Yeah, splintering, slippery. So when we did the repair and we kept everything the same size, the same footprint, as you can tell now, 5'2", the same height, because the upper patio, that's the only height you can do it. You couldn't really change too much there. Nothing changed. The blocks that we use it for from MBO precast, which is supposed to be superior as far as retaining the earth. There was no dirt removed. There was no anything. So I'm not too sure what did we harm? I don't know if that's the right word. What did we harm, or I'm just not too sure. It doesn't make much sense to me.
So there are some aspects of this that if a permit was pulled to have this work done, you know, as I said, there's evidence of what we saw that made it very difficult for me to vote for or against anything. But when the variance issue came up, I'm pretty consistent about how I vote against what I view as self-imposed hardships.
Can you explain the self-imposed? I'm not too sure.
So a self-imposed hardship is if there was no other way to reconstruct or reconfigure a replacement, or if somebody wanted to have, they had to have this square footage of a building, but they, for no other reason, decided to turn the property in a given direction, so you had, you know, maybe 1,000 square feet actually into wetland, they made that decision in their plans. They don't necessarily have to have 5,000 square feet. They could go 4,000 square feet, or turn it in a given orientation so that it's not going into the 65-foot buffer. That is what my interpretation would be of something that is self-imposed. And so that's the advantage of not having to deal with after-the-fact NOIs, is during that NOI we could say, well, let's continue this. We have some suggestions as to maybe how you can go back to the drawing board and maybe make some adjustments. So
By not following the process and letting us know beforehand, you denied us the ability to see what was there before.
But is that the real issue, or is the real issue conserving our Carver land and our ponds and our
The issue
waterways?
is following the bylaws that allow repair to existing
But it
structures.
seems like, because I didn't do it ahead of time, which I was unaware, that would be factoring into the decision made tonight, which that doesn't seem right. Meaning the rules of I would think that if
My
you would-
my feelings is, go right, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
sorry, it's
finish.
difficult to explain. It's become somewhat complicated. I don't want to ask the words, what would you have expected me to do? Because I don't want to open it up for everybody to say, oh, now it's your wall. It's going to become your wall if I start asking that. But the size didn't change. The height didn't change. The runoff down to the water didn't change. Nothing changed other than I was unaware. They don't teach you this in school. So because I was unaware and didn't learn that I couldn't repair my wall, I'm forced with taking it out. When I mentioned last meeting, if I came to you ahead of time and said, this wood's degrading, it's a safety risk, and it was in bad shape, I would like to put it in with these blocks, and if you saw these blocks suitable, which I can't imagine they wouldn't be suitable, I would believe that would have been approved, which makes me think, because I'm coming after the fact.
it's not just that. And there are a bunch of different materials that could have been used, and that's, again, outside the scope of really what we're talking about, other than to say that there's very little pervious surface, of which the one thing that I can say is there was before.
And is that on the wall, the face of the wall you're referring to?
On the top of the wall, and especially that staircase. That staircase is a solid cement footing. And before that, it was just basically, essentially railroad ties that were serving as water bars.
Actually, it looked like more of a 2x6 or 2x8 steps, wooden.
Yeah.
It's hard to speculate what would have happened had you come to us beforehand. I know that from my standpoint, and this does not have anything to do with Mr. Warren's case, if you had come to us with no Mr. Warren at all, I would have suggested that you replace wood with wood. That would have been my suggestion, because that is the definition of a repair. You're repairing something that is already there. You're taking the
But
wood.
that's crazy to think that a repair needs to be the same. A repair is fixing something that's broken. That's what a repair is.
If I have a gravel driveway and it gets runoff through it.
It's a driveway, not a gravel
Listen.
driveway. It's a driveway. So you.
But if I decide to repair my driveway and pave it instead, is that the same thing?
It is. It's a driveway. Your choice of what material you want.
No,
That's-
it's not. Not within, you're no longer repairing, you're rebuilding. You're tearing something down and putting something new in. You're not repairing. And the law is specific that it says repair. It does not say rebuild. And that's what we would need to go. And again, we would do that not to punish you, but to prevent the next person from even thinking about it.
But how can you say that to somebody sitting here? You're saying that this decision is to not hurt me, but to prevent other people. This is to do with me. I don't care who else comes before you. This is to do with our situation and how we handle this. I don't care who comes. Don't make me a precedent. You can see the before and after pictures. There was no change there. There was just no change. Just because some earth was moved during the digging, and that
Was
makes
it cement beforehand?
No, there was a
then there was
wall
a
there.
change. Then there was a change.
Yeah.
You can't tell me that wood and cement are the same thing. There was a change. There was a change in the materials, and that is an alteration. And if you look at the state law, you cannot alter. That's state law. That's not Carver, that's not us. That's the state. And that's what we need to follow. So, from that standpoint, you know, we can go back and forth on this. I would like to entertain a motion to continue this to see if we can come up with some kind of a compromise.
I would support that, but I'd also like to say that, Ms. Lombardo, you're saying that our arguments here are not really as far as protecting or guiding somebody else in the future. They are, because of the fact that if you paid attention to the regulations, you would have been the person in the future who was guided to do the correct thing. That is, to come to the agent with your proposal and say, I'd like to do this. Is this okay? But you proceeded to do it on your own, and because of that, you got into violation. That's the problem. This is why we want to establish that we don't want other people to be doing this in the future.
And
I just can't see much of anything else going there that would look
All right.
much different. So if, I would appreciate it if we could try to come up with some solution that would appease
Okay.
all parties.
I'd like to do that as well. So I think with that, we should continue it, and try to come to some kind of a compromise. Let's figure out, you know, options, that maybe can work, but in both our interests, in protecting the Wetlands Act and not making you jump through hoops to undo all that you've done. You said before that you didn't want to become the precedent. It's not you becoming the precedent, it's the ruling that becomes the precedent. And it's not you personally, it's not John's Pond, it's the ruling itself that becomes the precedent that someone in the future can use, saying, this is what was allowed, so now you have to allow it for me. So it has nothing to do with you or your wall. It has to do with the ruling on this type of situation. So I will entertain a motion to continue this until, let's go to January. Let's try to,
We don't have another meeting till January 5th anyway,
all right.
because of the Erickson's, I put off till the 5th. So that
All
was
right.
the only thing that was
So
on.
let's go one more meeting after that. Let's go to the 19th,
January 19th?
January
Okay.
19th.
Yeah, I wonder,
Yeah.
I was thinking if maybe he could, you know, could talk to the guy who helped Jenny Wong. You know, the landscape architect guy?
Yeah,
I mean, he had came up with that. It was a pretty good.
it was a
plan that he
good
had.
solution.
So I can give you his name. It was the person that worked with the other person we've been talking about,
Mhm.
Dan Warren. And he helped him come up, you know, with the different solution that the commission agreed to. I don't know, I mean,
Right.
he might be able to, and he kinda knows the issues and stuff, so it might be worth talking to him. You know, have him come take a look and see what.
That sounds so good, but I just can't picture anything else there. The wall can't be, so it's, what was there made sense there, and what's there now
Yeah.
makes sense there. The size wouldn't change, but I would like his information. I feel like it'd be worthwhile to speak to him.
Okay. So,
Okay, I'll move to continue to January 19th.
19th. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to continue this for further discussion on January 19th. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. It's continued 3-0. All right, so,
Thank you.
all right. Yeah, try to put your thinking caps on and, you know, it's a sticky wicket. There's no question about it.
Brooke, can you get the name of that person and pass it to?
Yeah, I have Danny's plan, so I'll get them
Okay.
his name and stuff, yeah, I'll email that to you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right,
Okay, that's,
so our next continued is continued till, that's
Yeah, till
ice cream,
the 5th.
January 5th?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so minutes,
Trees?
not on the agenda,
Oh. Okay.
as it was pointed out. We'll put it on the agenda.
Okay. Okay, so this is till the.
All right. Um,
January.
Right. All right, minutes.
November 3rd?
She
Well-
didn't give you copies of them all again.
No, we already had copies of the 3rd and of October 6th and 20th
Yeah,
that we need to vote on.
I think you get copies of all of them, actually.
Hmm?
I think you've got copies of
Yeah,
all of them.
well,
except
not
for-
the 17th. The 17th came by email.
Oh, okay.
It's not here, I don't think,
No, it's not. The third's, the third is here, right?
unless,
Yeah, because you sent her this.
oh, this,
Oh,
these say November 3rd. That was the 17th, wasn't it?
I could have just put the wrong date.
Yeah, because the 17th was at the high school.
Yeah, if it says at the high school, then it's just the wrong date on it.
All right, so the minutes that are attached are the 17th.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, what was the one at the high school? Was that the third?
Nope, that was the 17th.
17th, that was our last
Oh, okay, so
meeting.
this is just the wrong date on this. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry.
All right, so, that's the first thing. All right, so let's go back. Let's go back. October 6th. We've had them for a while.
Okay, and I don't have them, that's okay, I'll just,
No, we had them before.
wait.
You probably looked at them before and you just never, we
Probably
just
didn't
never
see
got
my
to the
card.
point where you approved them.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have them.
Well, no problems have come up with them, so let's just approve them.
All right, okay, so, I need a
Motion.
motion to approve the minutes of October 6th.
Also move?
Do I have a
Second.
second? All right, it's been moved and second to approve the minutes of October 6th as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, approved 3-0. All right, I need a motion to approve the minutes of October 20th.
So moved.
So moved, all right, and second? All right, it's been moved and second to approve the minutes of October 20th as written. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, it's approved, it's 3-0. November 3rd, need a motion, please?
I'll move to approve.
All right, it's been moved to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to approve the minutes of November 3rd. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, 3-0, 3-0. And the minutes of the 17th, the date needs to be changed.
I'll move to approve them. With the changes.
All right,
Second.
all right, so moved and seconded to approve the minutes of November 17th with the change as indicated. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, approved 3-0. Okay,
Considering all that went on. Good notes.
so, that is it for tonight, correct?
I think that's it.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So you don't mind that we don't have a meeting on the
Buzzards Bay.
15th, right? I mean, you don't care.
What's that?
Item from
Oh,
Buzzards
oh,
Bay.
oh, oh,
Oh,
the mini grant, yeah, we got $45,000 for some protection of land around the Great Meadows Cedar Swamp.
Okay.
Thanks to BBC again. Wrote it all up and got the money.
oh, okay.
And Rick signed the contract today?
Okay, very good.
Yeah, so I gave you a plan, it's, some lots, kind of, and they're, as you know, Jim, they've been doing this for
Yeah,
years, working on
Dan
this
Fortier
great
was,
Cedar Swamp, so it's,
Oh.
access to the swamp, and they got
Oh,
some ideas.
They got
'cause-
access.
I know.
They have it on Mayflower Road. Great,
Yeah.
great.
So it's a great project.
Okay.
So, we'll get more details from them and stuff when they figure out, exactly what they're gonna do and stuff, but at least get the money.
All right, okay, this is great. Just by the way, just, I want to mention that, I sent an email to
Brendan?
Brendan and Annette.
Yeah, for 44 Lakeview?
No.
Oh,
I took a photo of the parking lot at the boat launch.
oh, that showed all the, yeah, yeah,
That showed
yeah.
all the trucks and the fishing
Oh, all
fishing
right,
trailers. I didn't hear back from him if he got it or not,
Oh,
but he
okay.
wanted a picture of that, and there were 13 trucks.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
In
it
that
was
small
packed.
lot?
They were all over the place.
Wow.
So, he had asked for something, and I just
Right,
was
right,
going by
right.
one day and I saw
Yeah.
all the trucks, and I said, this is gonna tell him what he's gotta prepare for,
Yeah.
so.
We're gonna have them all towed, right?
Well, I don't know, he's gotta do something.
He'll
He's gotta
pay
do
for him to be
something.
towed.
All right, so anyway, is there anything else, Brooke? Or is that it?
What's this, the enforcement order here on?
We did that.
Okay.
I did that, yeah.
Oh, that's, you did, okay.
Yeah, so you amended enforcement order.
Yep, so we were gonna have a meeting on the 15th, but Erickson's is fine to put it off till the 5th, so I figured.
All right.
What time off were you?
Merry Christmas.
Unless-
All right, so we had a motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're out. Thank you.